Have you ever looked up at a fluffy cloud and wondered how rain actually falls? Well, grab your imaginary umbrella because we are going on a magical sky journey today. Think of a fluffy cloud like a giant, floating sponge high up in the sky. But it is not made of squishy foam like a sponge in your kitchen sink. A cloud is actually made of millions of tiny floating water drops and ice crystals. To understand how rain falls, we have to start all the way down here on the ground. Every single day, the bright yellow sun warms up the water in our big oceans, quiet lakes, and even muddy puddles. When water gets warm, it does an amazing magic trick and turns into invisible air called water vapor. This warm, invisible water vapor floats straight up into the clear blue sky, just like a shiny helium balloon. This cool magic trick has a special science name called evaporation. Can you say evaporation? The higher the invisible water vapor floats into the sky, the colder the air around it gets. Brr, it is chilly up there. When the invisible water vapor gets very cold, it turns back into tiny, visible liquid water drops. These tiny water drops hug each other tightly and form a beautiful, fluffy white cloud. This part of the amazing journey is called condensation. Condensation is the exact same magic trick that makes water drops on the outside of a cold juice glass. Have you ever seen those tiny drops on your cup in the summertime? That is condensation happening right in your very own hand. Now, here is where the story gets really fun and a little bit silly. Inside that fluffy cloud, all those tiny water drops are floating around and zooming perfectly happily. But as more and more water drops join the big cloud party, it gets very crowded. The tiny drops start bumping into each other and giving high fives. When they bump into each other, they stick together and make much bigger, heavier water drops. Soon, the cloud is totally packed with big, heavy water drops trying to find some space. Imagine a giant, bouncy castle totally filled with millions of wiggly, jiggly blue water balloons. The cloud gets so perfectly full and so incredibly heavy that it changes from bright white to dark gray. Sometimes these dark gray clouds get so big, they look like giant mountains floating in the sky. When clouds get really tall and super dark, they might bring a noisy thunderstorm. Thunderstorms have bright, flashy lightning and big, loud rumbles of thunder that go boom. But do not be scared of the loud thunder because it is just the sky clapping its hands. Finally, the big water drops get way too heavy for the air to hold them up anymore. Gravity gently pulls on them, and they jump out of the cloud yelling, "Whee!" all the way down. They fall fast down through the sky and land right on your nose with a happy little splash. This amazing falling water is what scientists call precipitation, or what we just call plain rain. Sometimes if the air is super freezing cold, the water drops do not fall as rain. Instead, they freeze into beautiful, sparkly little ice stars called snowflakes. Every single snowflake is totally unique, just like you. And sometimes the drops freeze into bouncy little ice balls called hail that go ping on the roof. But today, our friendly cloud is just dropping lovely, wet, splishy, splashy rain. Rain might keep us inside the house sometimes, but it is super important for our wonderful planet. Without rainy days, our tall green trees and colorful garden flowers would be super thirsty. The roots of the plants drink up the rainwater from the wet soil, like drinking through a tiny straw. Rain gives fresh, clean drinking water to all the little birds, bugs, and furry animals living out in the deep, green forest. It makes the grass grow soft and green so you can run and play without shoes. It even helps fill up the big lakes so we can go swimming in the bright, warm summer. So rain is actually nature's special way of giving the whole earth a big, refreshing drink of cool water. But wait, what happens to the rainwater after it falls on the ground and makes puddles? Does it just stay there forever and ever? No way! The amazing magical water journey just starts all over again. The bright yellow sun comes out from hiding behind the clouds and shines down on the wet puddles. The sun warms up the rainwater and it turns right back into invisible water vapor. It floats back up into the sky to make brand new fluffy clouds. This never-ending circle of water moving up and down is called the wonderful water cycle. The water cycle means that the water you see falling from the sky today is super ancient. In fact, the very same water drops that land on your umbrella might have been drunk by a giant dinosaur millions of years ago. Is not that the most amazing thing you've ever heard? You are sharing water with a mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. When the rain falls gently, it makes a very special, quiet sound like pitter-patter on the windows. It sounds like tiny little fairies dancing on the glass with very tiny shoes. Listening to the pitter-patter sound of the rain can make you feel super cozy and incredibly sleepy. Many kids love to snuggle up in a warm blanket and read a good book while the rain falls outside. What is your favorite thing to do inside the house on a chilly, rainy afternoon? Maybe you like to build a giant fort out of couch cushions and soft pillows. Out in the wild, different animals do really funny things when the rain starts to fall down. Little green frogs absolutely love the rainy weather, and they jump around croaking super happy songs. They sing their songs because the cool water feels so wonderful on their smooth, bumpy skin. Slippery pink earthworms wiggle out of the wet dirt to say hello to the rainy world above ground. But fluffy animals like stray cats and little brown squirrels hurry away to hide under thick, leafy bushes. They do not want to get their beautiful soft fur all soaking wet and cold. Have you ever noticed the special, yummy smell in the air right after a fresh rainstorm? It smells so clean, earthy, and perfectly wonderful. That special smell even has a fancy science name called petrichor. Can you say petrichor? It is the smell of the dry earth soaking up all that wonderful damp fresh water from the clouds. And if you are really lucky, after the rain stops and the sun peeks out, you might see magic. A giant, beautiful rainbow might stretch all the way across the clear blue sky. Rainbows happen when the bright sunlight shines right through the leftover little raindrops floating in the air. The water drops act like tiny crystal prisms, bending the sunlight into red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Every single drop of rain has traveled on a giant adventure just to reach your backyard. From the big blue ocean, up to the fluffy white clouds, and down to the green grass. Next time it rains, try to catch a drop on your tongue and remember its amazing journey from the sky. So put on your bright yellow rain boots and go splash in a big, muddy puddle.